Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Season 2 of Distant Worlds Universe. This is going to be episode 1 for the series. Glad to have you guys back here with Distant Worlds Universe. This is going to be a lot of fun. I've been planning out this game for quite some time, so let's get into it. Now this first episode here is going to be just me going over the general scenario for the game, or the actual settings and everything. So do feel free to skip this episode if you'd like and move on to the second one, because that's actually going to be where we start in the game. But I highly recommend staying and watching this episode, because if you want to know what's going on later in the game, you're going to probably want to know what settings we're playing with. So we're going to be using the Unleash Extended 2 mod, and what this does is it has a bunch of different races. It has the AI improvement mod. It's got some UI enhancement mods thrown in there. It's got an entirely brand new research tree put together that allows for kind of a slower integration, so that way it doesn't feel like you're getting warp drives back to back to back, or other technologies like it does in the vanilla game. Feels like the tech tree is kind of too quick to advance through, so this kind of makes the game last a little bit longer when it comes to research, and makes the componentry research feel a little bit more valuable, not like they're just trash, you throw them off to the side for the next best thing. It actually feels like you got to put a little bit of effort into what you're doing. So that's going to be it's going to make it a really unique game. So let's click start new game here. I've already gone ahead of the episode and set up the parameters for what we're going to be playing with. So we're going to be going with an elliptical galaxy. Last time we played, we went with an irregular. I decided to go elliptical just to mix things up a bit, try something new. Star amount, we're going to stick with the 1400 stars. Physical size, 15 by 15 sectors. Expansion, we're starting pre-warp. We're going to go for restless on aggression. Difficulty, we're going to stay to extreme, because really for me it's the only way I can actually play. I really enjoy extreme difficulty. Research costs, we're going to stay to normal. Space creatures, we're going to put on many just to give us that extra spice. Now pirates, this is something different. Before I had many pirates, this time I'm going with few. The reason for that is because but the pirates, even few is a lot of pirates. So when we had many last time, we ended up with something like 30 something pirate factions. That's a little ridiculous. So I lowered it to few. I've already ran a few test games. Few is more than enough pirates to keep us entertained. For pirate strength, just going to keep it on normal. And then for destroyed pirates do not respawn, I got that checked, so that way we can actually clear out, we can actually completely wipe pirates from existence if we wanted to, you know, wage like a war on pirates. It would be frustrating for them to just keep respawning after every time you kind of throw your arm, or you know, your navy at it. I want to feel like if I devote my military strength towards taking out pirates, I actually take them out. They don't just respawn somewhere else. So now let's look at colonization and territory. Colony prevalence, I'm going to keep this on plentiful. Make sure that there's lots of colonies that people are able to colonize. Independent alien life, we're going to stay on normal. Colony influence range, we're actually going to change that to the suggested range of 106%. Enforced colonization range limits, yes, and the colonization range, we're going to go with 1.5 sectors. So I had gone with 1 sector in my last playthrough, and that ended up being somewhat, well, I won't spoil it for anybody that hasn't watched it, but we're going to go with much larger sector colonization range. That's actually going to allow us the opportunity to, if there's systems that are farther away to colonize, we can actually get to them instead of being just out of that colonization range, which is always frustrating, especially if you get stuck on your home world. All right, so for our race, we're actually, this is going to be a little bit different than what I usually do, but we're actually going to be playing as the humans. Now, this might actually be my first time playing as the humans in any 4X game that I've played, any space-related 4X game. Usually don't like playing the humans because, you know, I'm human. We're all human, so it's, you know, it's not as interesting. It is fun, but it's not as interesting, or I imagine it's fun. just because, you know, that we live this life daily for the most part, not the space. You know what I'm saying? It's just more interesting to play alien races, something unique. But I've decided that we are going to play humans for this one because I kind of got this pretty neat scenario that I'm going along with. We're going to kind of do a, you know, we're playing as the humans. Kind of, I don't want to say role playing because I'm not good at role playing, but you know, we're kind of playing as if the humans, you know, playing what the humans would look like maybe a couple hundred years from now as they start expanding out into the stars. So I thought that was pretty cool when I thought of it. I've got some unique names for some of the ships we're going to build and all that. So, and for our starting planet. So that's going to be the plan. I didn't want to, I looked through all the other alien races and there was a bunch of them that were pretty cool, but humans just were the ones that really hit me for some reason. I've never really played humans and I wanted to give it a try. I think it's going to be a really fun playthrough for that reason. So for the race family, we got humanoid, native planet type, of course, is continental. Default reproduction rate is going to be 18%. For our characteristics, we're looking at quite aggressive, quite cautious, quite friendly, quite intelligent, and very dependable. So all pretty good characteristics around the board, pretty average. Bonuses, this is pretty important. So cunning schemers, better spies, plus 15%, and gifted scientists. Two extremely important bonuses for me. Always love the better spies. I feel like out of all the 4X games I play, Distant Worlds universe has some of the best spy system out of all the ones I've played so far for the 4X genre. It's not that other games fail at spies, it's just that for some reason I find myself using them a lot more often in Distant Worlds universe. I don't know if it's because they've got a large plethora of things they can do, or if they're just more effective, or maybe if it's just because they're so much more basic to use, it's just kind of like giving them a mission and sending them off, that it's just convenient to use them, especially stealing research. I mean, I can't, and in extreme difficulty, stealing research is pretty much your best friend. So we've got our resource bonuses here, the Yaris Marble, the Emerald Crystal, and Gold. Of course, gold for humans. Humans love their gold. Race victory conditions. So this is another thing that's important. We are going to be playing victory conditions because going with a sandbox game is kind of not really good, since you don't really know when to end it because it just keeps going forever unless you kill everybody, which in an extreme game is probably impossible. So the game would just go on until eventually my computer probably caught fire. So we're going to have victory conditions. I'm going to set them out a little bit farther. I'll explain more of that as we get to the next couple screens. But so we have 25%. We can control 33% of all continental colonies in the galaxy. Another 25%. If we make mutual defense pacts with 15% of all empires in the galaxy, so very a diplomatic race. We're going to be playing as a very diplomatic race. Destroy more enemy ships and bases than you lose. So on top of being diplomatic, we're also going to be fairly aggressive, but a little reservative in that we try to protect our resources whilst destroying others, which I guess is the point of any war anyways. Earn the most trade income in the galaxy and earn the most tourist income in the galaxy. A unique one there. That means we're going to want to build a lot of resort bases so we can attract tourists to our empire. This is going to be pretty useful because the humans can actually earn a pretty substantially large bonus in income through resort bases. So I'm not going to go over any of this other stuff except for maybe the characters. Just an extra, we start with an extra intelligent agent, pretty big boon in the beginning there. That's going to help us out a lot. We have a plus 30% chance for ambassador characters, plus 30% chance to generate colony governors, minus 20% for fleet admirals, minus 20% for troop generals, plus 15 for scientists, and plus 30 for intelligent agent characters. And we get a special government type, corporate nationalism, which we're going to go on this screen here. So we're going to call ourselves the Imperium. If you're a big Warhammer 40k player, or if you're familiar with the Warhammer 40k universe, that's kind of what this playthrough is going to center around. I know there is a Warhammer 40k mod for Distant Worlds universe. However, it's not in work anymore, and it's got some bugs and such. And I just didn't really want to use it because it's not the playthrough I'm going with. I wanted to use the Unleashed Extended because I wanted the AI improvement, the UI changes, I wanted the brand new tech tree, so it just makes sense for me to go for this. So even though I am going to be using kind of Warhammer 40k references when it comes to the name of my empire and the name of my ships and everything. It's not in any way a Warhammer 40k roleplay. And if you're not familiar with Warhammer 40k, don't worry about it. It's not going to ruin your viewing experience at all, because it's really just going to be how I name things. That's going to be kind of Warhammer 40k related. But I wanted to point that out, so those of you that kind of, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. Maybe see how long it took for people to notice that, but that's all right. We're going to stick with that anyway. So, yep, the Imperium. This is going to be our flag. Random galaxy starting location. We're actually not going to do random. We're going to do the deep core. I want to be right in the center of the galaxy. It's going to make a unique situation where I'm being assaulted by all sides. So I've got to really balance my diplomatic relations with the other empires, because if I don't, I could end up being assaulted on literally all sides of my empire. So this is going to make a really unique situation. This is what I want to go with for that reason. On top of that, every single time I ran a test game with this and generated a game, I always ended up somewhere in these like middle parts here, and it was nasty. And if I ended up in the outer parts, it just, I don't know. I don't like really being boxed into the corners. I do, because it's kind of more safe for your empire to an extent, but at the same time, this is going to create a unique and fun experience. So that's what I'm going to go with. Home system, I'm going to go with agreeable. Kind of give us that slight boost in the beginning, because seeming that we're doing extreme difficulty, the AI is going to have the advantage at all times. So I might as well try to even it up just a little bit where I can. Size, starting, tech levels pre-warp, corruption, we're just going to keep on normal. For government, we're going to go with our special type of government, corporate nationalism. That gives us all of these bonuses right here. I'm not going to go over them all. I've already read them a couple times, so if you want to pause the game and look at them real quickly, you can. However, I'm going to be moving on. So other empires, I'm just going to generate 16 starting empires. I'm going to allow independent alien colonies to start new empires during the game. So that'll give us our starting 16, which I think is more than enough. Less than the first season I ran, but more than enough for this one. And then allowing independent aliens to form their own colonies means that this number will just continue to rise as the game moves on. And now, last but not least, the victory conditions for the scenario. So we're going to keep all victory conditions turned on. I've changed the victory threshold percent to 85% as opposed to 80. That's going to give us a longer game, a much longer game, and it's going to be a much tougher game for somebody to win, including ourselves, because that means we're literally going to have almost, XX percentage of everything pretty much maxed out to actually win the game. So this is going to make a pretty interesting and cool scenario for all empires to kind of win. Victory conditions apply after XX years. I've changed it to 50 instead of 25. So a little bit longer until the victory conditions actually apply. So that way, if somebody does grab this up really early somehow, by the grace of God, I don't know how it would happen, but if it did happen, we've still hopefully got plenty of time to shut him down before we actually hit the 50-year mark. Whether that means going to war with him or whatnot, or completely wiping that race from the game. I'm not going to put a time limit. I'm going to let this game go as long as I possibly can. Allow tech trading. I'm actually going to turn that off this time, because a lot of people consider this a massive exploit, and they consider it very gamey in that it allows you to kind of, because you could trade tech for massive amounts of money and then build up an entire army. It is very gamey. I've messed with it a bit, and it just kind of takes away from the overall experience. Makes it too easy to get cash. So I'm just going to turn it off and not even entertain the possibility that we could do it. And then I'm going to allow the giant kelters at game start, just that extra challenge. All of these storyline and race-specific events are going to be on, so we do have the chance of potentially having the Return of the Shaktari event rise and some other ones here, so we'll see what happens. However, so that's going to conclude this first episode. I know just a lot of talking, nothing really too interesting, but there's a lot that goes into setting up these games, and I wanted to make sure that for those of you that stuck around for this episode, you had a good idea of what was going on and what to expect, and hopefully you could see kind of where things are going. So thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in episode 2. I'm going to generate the galaxy now. It takes a good 5 minutes for it to actually generate because it is a very large galaxy. So I'm actually going to cut this off, and then we'll start the second episode inside of the galaxy that we're going to be playing in, and I'll show you all of that when we get there. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.